You are listening to The Inside Scoop, a podcast about self improvement and knowledge seeking. Our aim is to explore a diverse range of topics and perform self checks on whether we're being the best versions of ourselves every week. I'm your host, Marius Herbalis. Let's get started. So, it's been quite an interesting week. Oscar, hi there. I haven't introduced you, so I have co host
Indeed.
Oscar. And well, we have been working on some very, well, for me personally, kind of interesting stuff. We have our 3 weeks industrial project, isn't it? It's like a university thing where we kind of get a company to play, or not even play, like they do provide us with like an actual industry problem, or do they? Do you know more about this?
Uh, do I know more about this? Yeah, they've got somebody from the company, a recent graduate actually, as uh, our client, and you may have set it all up. That may have been his task. Set up a project, a full project for us to work on as a team of around 10.
Yeah, it's quite a big team this time. So it's an interesting thing because I don't think we've ever had. Well, I personally, speaking for myself, I never had such a big scope project where you have people, and it also feels like okay. So when you read the brief, you read the requirements and everything. There's not all that much that you couldn't do like yourself alone, right? If you didn't have to do all the documentation and everything. The coding part is kind of like okay, but for me, where like the biggest issue lies is that like we have 10 people in our team. How are we supposed to like split it? Like split all the tasks and everything? Like I don't know. Do you feel the same, or are you guys? Is your team doing okay with task
Uh,
splitting?
well, we thought we were okay in the first place. We split it up into front end and back end, and we had a very a vague idea of what we were doing. I went went off and started working on my own API, which was just going to accept HTTP requests. So I wasn't really too concerned about what the rest were doing until we sat down on today today morning, and we kind of realized that we should have done more planning, and so we did the more planning this morning. And yesterday, I'm just kind of coding up a skeleton for the entire application, so everybody can work on the same thing, and it's all already kind of integrated.
Yeah, that's cool. Um, so
Uh,
did you guys find what you are gonna do quickly? Like once your team gathered, how long did it take for you to like say, okay, that's the idea, that's what we're doing, like choosing the front end and back end and all that?
well, I put a lot of trust in the rest of the team because I'm not leading. We've got two leaders, so I put a lot of trust in them. And so as soon as I found what I'm doing, I just kind of focused on that myself. But in terms of like in the meeting this morning, kind of it was a really interesting way when we were in the call and we are kind of typing out pseudocode to try and understand and uh, connect our concepts, connect the way we think, conceptualize this project and how it's all going to end up working together. It's very interesting to see where, as we kind of talked more and more, like as more and more realizations emerged between each other. That there were some conflicts and that would be a problem of an integration, and that we didn't really actually know. That we thought we knew it was going to be quite easy to integrate, but none of us really had a clear or similar idea to each other of how it was going to happen. So that was an interesting from the perspective of what we're talking about, what we kind of want to talk about, I guess, of consciousness symbiosis.
Yeah,
So the
like
more we talked for like 2 hours, and by the end, we kind of all had a similar idea of what's going on.
okay, so it did sort of manifest itself like because I have a page open on my screen right here in front of me which says collective consciousness, right? I feel like it's a good segue into what I kind of want to touch on, because
Yep.
how you mentioned front end and back end, for people unaware, that these are the concepts in computer science where the application, a program, software, some sort of a thing that performs tasks, is usually split into what the user sees, which is called the front. It's like a restaurant, right? You don't see what happens in the kitchen. And it is actually called the back end, or like, what is it, the back? Like even in the kitchen, they call the front and the back. So it's pretty much
Yep.
the same. And we literally had the same thing. And the first day, we came up with, okay, well, that's it. We're going to make a website. It's going to have the back end, as in, the database. We're going to have the front end, that is the website, right? Because it just makes sense, right?
Mhm.
I felt like, and everyone kind of agreed on it because it just, it feels natural to, I mean, that's why we're here, learn all that. And the brief kind of fits this well, or, well, the other way around, like the solution that we came up with fits the brief. I was like, oh,
Mhm.
that's kind of cool. How everyone, well, yeah, I hope it fits the collective consciousness description, which is like when everyone kind of just agreed on. So was it the same for y'all? Like, did you feel like?
Yeah, I think there's a difference between just agreeing and having your ideas in agreement, because you can agree on things without actually thinking the same thing. Versus if you have the same idea actually, or very similar, because you can only, your ideas can only become so similar, or your concept of something can only become so similar to somebody else's. It's never going to be exactly the same because you're your own person and you've got your own background and experiences. So whatever you're thinking right now, if we're talking about the same thing, it's never going to be exactly the same, but they're going to approach each other the longer you converse with a person. So that's like universally, conversation is like such a powerful tool for so many things. Like you just multiply it, make a conversation 2 hours or 4 hours long, to kind of communicate ideas better. If there is enough, like there's, it depends on the thing, right? I'm saying 2 or 3. That's arbitrarily, but case by case, it's going to differ.
Yeah. And so I'll tell you what happened with our group. Well, being the skeptic I am, I guess, looked at it and thought, I feel like we're jumping to the conclusion too fast. And I suggested to maybe meet up the other day and like everyone just thinks of new ideas on like how to solve this problem, because so our task is to make a quiz game application. Yeah. And they kind of already started making user interface designs, kind of copying them from Kahoot. And I think you know what Kahoot is, right?
Yes.
And people most likely know what Kahoot is. But I was like, okay, so because there are many quizzes. There's Jeopardy, there's Who Wants to Be Millionaire, there's like all sorts of. I was like, okay, guys, we need to just take a step back, almost forget what we did today, and just meet up tomorrow in the morning and like everyone presents their ideas. Because what I think is that we're overlooking some simpler solutions like making a Unity game. And well, obviously, the next day everyone was like, oh yeah, I think, and then no one actually suggested ideas, but they were like, yeah, we feel like Unity game is good and now we're making a Unity game. So, well, it's like the
Is it
collective.
networked?
Sorry?
Is it networked?
Oh yeah. We already have, you can join as many people as you want to our server and run around, and you're going to have like
That's cool.
people like, I haven't played Fall Guys, but it's like as if you're gonna have to choose like you have to run on the question, but you're gonna also have power ups which are gonna be able to like interact it on other players. Like you can, I don't know, throw like an ice cube on another player, and if he was following you towards the answer, then he's gonna slip and you're gonna run away to another. It's like, we'll see how it goes.
Yeah.
But I was just like, damn, why do we need to do some tech which we don't understand all too well? Although at the same time, right, we would learn, because people will both need to learn Unity, the game engine, and that.
Yeah.
But I was like, if we do Unity, we don't really need backend, and everything's gonna be the same. And it's just like we're making a game anyways, and the brief says, deploy it on like different platforms. And I was like, yeah, this seems like the thing. I'm just like weird how like people just agreed almost instantly, like, oh, this sounds good, and just went with the idea. Just the same way our first day in the morning went. Everyone was also like, okay, that's front end, back end, that's it, that's the solution, let's go. And they're like, kind of not, I don't know, maybe it's because we don't have enough experience on ideation stage where we sit down and brainstorm ideas, like different ideas, by forgetting the best ideas that we ideated already. It's like when you're like doing something, you know what I mean? Like you're creating some ideas, you're coming up with them, and then you find one good idea, and then you're like, oh, I'm probably gonna stick with this one,
Yeah.
It's like in a brainstorm, you're like, okay, I don't need to ideate any further because I feel like this is gonna be the one. But like you should really not do that. You should write it down and like try others. So it's like I feel like sometimes the collective consciousness and maybe just the way I don't want to sound like weird, but you know how like they say there's like terms like herd mentality and it's like all sorts of stuff like that, right? It just it's prominent in today's society, right?
Yeah, okay. Right. But
like I don't know how much this just plainly fits this definition, right? You can't just put this in boxes, but it's like
herd mentality is I don't think it's what you're it's what you're describing, or what you're thinking of.
Yeah, but at the same time, herd mentality is also like people are influenced by their peers. Well, okay, so the definition is people can be influenced by their peers to adopt certain behaviors or largely emotional rather than rational basis, right? Oh, yeah, it's the last part does not fit, but it's more of like the peer pressure or peer influence makes them not want to go against the flow or something like that.
Yeah, well, I've read about it as one of the things in my psychology little handbook, but yeah, I couldn't speak about it, so
couldn't share anything. Yeah.
No, I can't recall too much about it right now. I would have to think about it to recall anything of value. But yeah, so originally the idea, and here I go. Originally, the first thought in psychology was that, or the first kind of thoughts in the psychology about people act in groups of people, was that their views are going to be more kind of relaxed, kind of in the middle, like centric, because you just have a group of people and you think, okay, the group, the view of the group is just going to be like the average or something, but it's like completely not that. It's like actually more extreme if you have like group think, I think it may be called, but I might be wrong there. But yeah, herd mentality, I think, is the other word for it. Is that their ideas tend to be or can be way more extreme than that of a single person. But yeah, I don't know the people are kind of like afraid to speak up or whatever, right?
Mm-hmm.
Something like this. With a charismatic leader or whatever in the middle, always has a leader. But yeah, I couldn't speak about it.
Yeah, I know what you mean. So, well, I mean,
I am, but I don't take any of what I say really as what the thing is, because yeah. But we've gone on a tangent.
So, our first topic, wrapping up with the group consciousness, herd mentality.
Yeah, well, no, don't pair the two.
Okay.
Like, I guess group consciousness, we're coming from. I don't know if it was influenced at all, but I was what I was talking with the consciousness symbiosis. But if it is like it's nothing to do with herd mentality.
Sure. So yeah, then transitioning it to just in general, how are you feeling the week? Like I've been tired for some reason.
Uh, I've not been the most organized.
Hmm.
I,
Feel like you're lacking routine or something?
yeah, I'm lacking routine. I need to set up some proper timetable for myself because, like, with most people in my team are just working on a project. And I'm some people are working as well, but I'm doing tutoring, and so I've got to kind of prepare for that as well. And my first kind of tutoring on Monday this week. Uh, the material that I was tutoring for that week, I only got it when like on the day because yeah, and and so yeah, that I actually hadn't like refreshed my mind on that, and it was like basic things, but I haven't thought about them in ages, so I was like uh, really unable to help a lot. So that was kind of stressful. But yeah, and then after that, like during that first, like, because I was tutoring for like 4 hours that module this week, so like after that, I kind of brushed up on it, and it was all good. Um, but yeah, since like I was tutoring, that was kind of taking my mind away from the project, and only towards the end of the week I was really able to get my head down fully and focus on this project. So it's been quite hectic.
Yeah, I felt similar where it's either the lack of the routine or just in general maybe it just hit me like the week itself just hit me like a wave where the last night before having to start the 9 to 5 week meetings and all of that because like we've tried it for the first few days and then like shift like slowly pushed it to like 10 like our morning meetings to like 10 a.m. But still I was wide awake in bed at like 5 a.m. on on a Monday morning. uh I chatted with a couple of friends and they were kind of the same way too for some reason, but like it's like I said, okay, that's it, I'm gonna go to sleep.
I think I probably know who you chatted to, but
Yeah. Oh, right. Yeah. Because I think I even told you that I went to sleep at 11 p.m. and I checked my phone at like 3 a.m., realizing that I've been wide awake. And like, I was like, no, that's it. That's a stupid thing to do. Remember, I think we talked about the second sleep, right? Or maybe I discussed it in some other episode. Second sleep, which apparently will used to be like a natural phenomenon where it is documented somewhere. So people try to now sort of like dig and understand what it was. Apparently, it's like that people used to sleep, wake up in the middle of the night, just do whatever, and just go to sleep again. So I've heard some people say it's like if you wake up at night, like 2 a.m., 3 a.m., something like that, just get up. If you're feeling fine, if you're not feeling like sleeping, like very tired or whatever, just get up. Just do something for like an hour or so. Not like, go sit at a computer blasting your eyes with, light and stuff, but just, I don't know, something chill, meditate, yoga, whatever the hell, right? And go to sleep again. Yeah, that was an interesting concept, but like, all I did then is just made some tea, had some tea, chilled, and went to sleep. Um, but yeah, as I said, like the week just hits and it goes all the way till here. And I think it's a Friday night, Friday evening. I'm just realizing, well, the first week is done. Huh. Interesting. Been an interesting experience. Well, I wanted to talk about this on the podcast just to like to see what you think about the whole idea of having this as a 9 to 5 week. Because it's interesting that we get to do this because it's like a simulation. Like assuming we get into an office and work in a company which has the 9 to 5 schedule. And most companies, well, as far as I'm aware, currently do remote positions. So this is even a more accurate simulation of what it would be
mm.
in a company nowadays. Like Well, again, we're only most of the things, like as much as this podcast is like about everything, but like it still is about us, and we are like what, computing students, so everything usually ends up in some sort of a computing related life experience because that's most of the things that we have right now. But yeah, mm, don't know. We'll see how next week goes. Actually,
Yeah.
hopefully be better because this one's
Oh,
been just I mean meetings,
meeting overload.
yeah. It's
Yeah.
kind of weird because like we called up, I think the first day or two, called up at 9 a.m.
Yeah.
Finished the call at 12 p.m.
Oh wow. Oh
Have
god.
lunch for an hour, start the
Yeah.
meeting at 1 p.m., finish the meeting at 5 p.m., and proceed to the
Oh,
next day. And
sounds like a lot of fucking meetings.
no, it's just two, but they're long, you know. So yeah,
A lot of meeting, I guess.
that is actually true. Yeah. So I feel like it's kind of cool. I enjoy it. You know, it's an interesting experience to try it out. But yeah, you do feel drained. I don't know if we want to get into like the passive versus like active. Uh,
Sure. That fits in.
what's the? God damn it, I forgot. Passive versus active recreation, right? Something like that.
Yes.
Yeah, we'll just touch it for like a few minutes and then wrap up. It's because now I feel less like playing a game.
Yeah.
What
Okay.
what always felt like the best way to wind down, chill, and just uh, just chill, right? Like
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what's your best way to calm down? Like I don't know, like chill after like when you've done something, been working or something, or do you never chill? Are you like the new Elon Musk?
I mean, no, but this week I probably should have made time for chill, but I haven't. Problem is, yeah, I've gone about it the wrong way. Like from going from the summer to get the gear spinning to get the momentum up. Like if something has a lot of momentum, it has a lot of mass also, but it also means it takes a lot of energy to get it to that point where it's going when it has that momentum. Um, but yeah, so if I want to end up with a lot of momentum at some point, it would mean that would take me a while to get there. But I kind of just tried to jump in. Um, I'm using this analogy as if it were completely true and analogous, as an analogy should be, to how our I don't know work effort works. But yeah, I don't know, maybe. So yeah, I should have probably taken my time and maybe just done the 9 to 5. But I've been trying to do more, and I feel like trying to do more, I wasted a lot more time as well. But yeah, it'll be just something to fall back into.
Yeah, I feel like at the same time it's just because we are, you know, there's a saying about a ship lost on the sea.
Is there?
Well, there's a lot of sayings about everything, but it's the one where what is it like? A ship can only go so far without a captain. It's some very simple way of explaining that. Well, you know, if there's no good captain in the ship, it doesn't matter how far the ship sails. It's just probably gonna end up doing it in circles or whatever. So, I feel like we were thrown into this without much guidance, but that is the plan. Or well, maybe there's guidance on like what we're supposed to do, but like it's a test for everyone because as much as we would like the routine, like you say, you would like to more of a structured routine, right?
No.
No?
Well, yeah, I wouldn't like a set of instructions given to me to do something, but a routine for myself, yeah. But you just kind of confused the two.
That's interesting. Do you want to expand on that?
Well, you started talking about being thrown in without, I guess, guidance. You said,
Yeah, into
and
the
then
project by our professors, yes.
went on to talk about went on to talk about the routine.
Yes.
Well, I don't like the connection between the two. I like a routine as my own, and then whether I get instructions on something is something else.
Okay. But if you do not have a strong team unit which sets their own routine, then you cannot have your personal routine.
Yeah, but I thought you were talking about how routine that you would have if you were just given, I don't know, a set of tasks from your lecturer.
No, it's not the lecturer. The main idea is that the lecturers threw us in as a team. Well,
Okay, just
as a
go and
group of
start over.
students. And we were thrown into this project, not knowing anything. And we are now having to create everything for ourselves. So it's
Yeah,
like the lack of routine might also mean that people in the team, because we don't have any experience at all, right? When it comes to managing projects and everything, it pretty much just means we don't have enough experience to understand that, okay, here we need to do this and that, just so everyone would work optimally. And then because everyone works at different paces, in different ways. Is that correct?
hmm Well, yeah, whatever that means. Yeah, sure.
Well, everyone usually has their own work ethic, their own work
Yeah,
style, whatever, which means no wonder companies have their what is the hell are they called? The people who like look into team building and they're trying to be
yeah,
like the person in between, because like they're like, oh, I see that you're an introvert and like you work this way. Would you like to rather finish your task then or that? It's like people who try to enhance the performance of a team
yeah,
by trying to maximize everyone's
yeah.
stuff. So that's what I mean. It's like that's why we might be feeling drained, because we don't have all of those luxuries that like bigger
Well, I think we're
companies
just
have.
working. I think it's just work. You're supposed to feel drained work. You're supposed to be feel tired after work. That's what you're talking about, enjoying passive leisurely passive recreation,
Hmm.
because
Yeah,
your work was actually exhausting.
that is true. But that's the thing. I'm trying to find parallels between whether it's actually the work or it's the inefficiency of the work. I mean, we were doing whatever we could, we were doing the best we could
Yeah.
in trying to organize everything
Well,
and all that.
in the time that you worked, it was just 9 to 5, just a normal working day. Uh, what kind of work have you done before? Like, you mostly do like gigs, right? You show up somewhere, you video recording, right?
Yeah,
Not you haven't really done a lot of 9 to 5 work, have you?
that is correct.
Because I've done 9 to 5 work on the construction site, and I know when I get back home after that, I am tired. And of
Hmm.
course, it's physical work, but I imagine, intellectual work. It's going to be intellectually draining after 8 hours
Hmm.
straight as well. So, I
Actually, I
and
think,
you
yeah, sorry, you could just continue.
and the fact that like you have these challenges happen, you might be more challenging, but uh, you might be still putting the same amount of effort as if
Mm,
you had the tasks clearly defined. You would just, if the
true.
tasks were clearly defined and they're just repetitive tasks that you have done many times before, as you often do in programming,
Yeah.
um, then those, you'd have more say done more of them, and it would have been same effort as if you had more challenging tasks, but you wouldn't do as many of them.
Yeah.
But you would spend more time thinking or something, and it might not feel like you've done a lot. But you probably did, because the challenge, the work, the effort was really figuring that out.
Yeah, and that's what I'm thinking right now. It's like we're gonna have 2 more weeks of this, and we are gonna have to check in next week or something like that, right? To see if we are feeling any different. Because I feel like even for today, for example, we were trying to do a surgery on a Git repository for like 2 hours or so. And we delayed the call to everyone because there were some weird, spaghetti issues in there, which is like prior to explaining everyone how we're supposed to use, the versioning solution. Well, Git is known in the software engineering industry as a tool, and it's just some work like that. So I wonder what's going to happen next week, because we have tasks now, which we know what we need to do pretty much, and we have the tools all readied up. So it's just like the means of sitting down and doing the work. And I want to see which work is actually more tiring. Is it the one where you have the tasks, you just grab a note off the wall pretty much, well, the virtual wall of GitHub, grab a task, put it in front of your eyes, just do it, perform it, and go to the next one? Or is it the one where we had now, where we were kind of like navigating the ambiguity of what's happening? Everyone was gonna kind of trying to put offer their input on, like, well, maybe we should do it this way, maybe we should do it this way, and then like the middle of you see, like, even second day of our week, it's like another solution comes by. It's like, okay, scrap everything that we have already, like let's do that. And it's like just the uncertainty of having to sit there, look at the screen, and be like, yeah, I don't feel like I'm doing much.
Yeah.
I don't know if there's a lot of progress in that too, but I mean, something is happening. So I feel like it's good, because it's like a sorting algorithm. It's like it's slowly like self-sorting into like into where it should be.
Yeah.
It's like, you write numbers on people's shirts, let them in a room and tell them to sort themselves. They're gonna like walk around in like a huge, absolute, complete mess. Like, just everyone's just like, whatever, what's happening, until eventually they'll sort themselves out. So I'll see what's gonna happen next week, and I don't know. Maybe this is gonna be a poor test, because because it's a second week. This may already mean that we're in the rhythm, and so not only our tasks are clearly defined, but also we have already been doing this for a week or so. So it's gonna be even easier. I don't know. It's just interesting. Just a thought experiment. Like, feel.
But yeah, you can still speculate about it logically. Like, we are really used to having systems for things and just following instructions, especially at university. We're used to just following instructions, and if we can't figure something out, we just ask for help. Or in computing, we just look at Stack Overflow and whatever, or go. Nowadays, just go to YouTube and look at a tutorial for how to do things. But work can be kind of grouped, I guess, into problem solving and routine tasks. And it's often going to be a mix of those, because it's nice to be problem solving all the time. Actually, when you get used to it, when you get lost in a problem, it doesn't really feel like time is flying. I read this thing in a book I'm reading right now, 1984, about this, and I kind of connected with it. It was talking about how he's doing this job of basically censoring. It's not exactly censoring, but censoring
thoughts, pretty much.
Yeah. Media, so that he can censor people's thoughts, like alt media and stuff. Changing the past is what they're trying to do, and so he sent a bunch of things, and he's supposed to like rewrite them in certain ways, so that the big brother is not seen wrong, because he made the prediction that was wrong in the past. So you change the prediction from the past, and then you re-release the newspaper or something. And he's talking about some of these problems are like a tough mathematical problem, where you just get lost in it, and it's just enjoyable. And I kind of felt that when routine tasks are like, I hate them. I hate doing routine tasks, but you just have to do them, and you just accept that. And there's always going to be some work that you have to do, and whether the work for you is the routine tasks that are going to feel like work for you, or whether it is the challenging problem-solving tasks that are going to feel like work for you, is probably something to do with your character or personality. Maybe just what you're used to. I know some people like to just follow instructions, carry out instructions, and other people like to get lost in problem solving. So yeah. but it's usually work is usually a mix of those two, and especially in our domain of computing and computer programming, we do problem solving, but we do also a lot of routine tasks. Now, something like working on a construction site as a laborer, you're probably, after a while, you're going to be doing the same tasks as you always have been. You're maybe a little bit of problem solving, but not an awful lot.
Yeah,
or a cleaner,
thoughts.
Right?
True. Because here we're gonna be, presented with, I would assume, different tasks. Like, as much as they're also do the same thing, right? Think of a solution, write code to solve it or something. But it's also this kind of sense of accomplishment / nice feeling once you master some sort of like an algorithm or a thing, and you have a chance to implement it too. It's like those I don't know, for example, how we played a rally game,
Yeah.
and there's a time attack thing, and then the faster you go through a stage, the better your time is going to be, and the higher on the leaderboard you're going to be. So it's like you look at the leaderboard and people are like, it seems like they're so fast, but all they do is they just grind the same corners, the same road, the same corners, the same turns, the same everything. And it's like, it's just the feeling once you master it all and then you're able to perform it. It's just like, I think even with software engineering, it's like we're eventually gonna learn quite a lot, I would say, and throughout our years, that's why we have like senior programmers with like huge knowledge, huge like body of knowledge that they have, and they're able to just look at a problem and say like, okay, yeah, just do this and this, as opposed to us, we have to like think about it. And so I feel like there's room for improvement, so I feel like that's kind of good. And
yeah, there is.
Yeah. Well, I feel like wrapping up. It's kind of a cool chat with you today.
Mm-hmm. You as well.
Collective consciousness, tiring work, and yeah, I think that's the topics. Cool. We'll check in a week. Now, sadly, online, live again. Online, not in the studio anymore. We've done, a couple of podcasts in the studio. The second one has already been video, and we were like, yeah, we're switching to video podcasts, hell yeah. And then the restrictions, the guidelines have just appeared. It's like, you're not supposed to go to other people's places or, gather in places, and it's like, oh, okay. So we have to respect the guidelines. COVID is quite a weird situation. Some crazy stuff happening. Anyway, thank you for the chat, Oscar. And
yep, so
have a good next week. Have a productive week, I guess. So
I wish you the same.
Appreciate it. Thank you, everybody, for listening, and see you next week.
See ya.